Okay. Do we need a refresher? Uh,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, let's see what happened. What what happened? Oh yeah, they came into the house and they were like, "Oh my gosh, the maids are
She's
unconscious. She's been sucked."
the mother was
The
sucked.
mother was sucked dry. She did. She did.
She did.
She did.
She
And
never come back.
what is that?
She never come back.
Yeah, can't make her come back. And then oh yeah, Lucy was pale because she also got sucked.
But
Um,
not dry.
but not dry. She didn't get sucked dead. Um, so then they were like, "Oh, we must do another transfusion," but like we can't because there's no man. There's no man here. Besides the fact that there's three able-bodied women downstairs who could give blood. But I think Van Helsing was suspicious of those three. Rightfully so, because we were suspicious of those three as well.
There's 3 women, right?
Mm-hmm. There was three.
There's 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There was three of them. And they were all unconscious and unsucked. Why was their blood not sucked? Huh? They were just unconscious.
The brides.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Suspicious.
Brides of Dracula.
Suspicious. And that I bet you that's why Dracula kept going to that house.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. And then nobody could do that to the mom because she would have just died, and that would have been suspicious.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they never stepped in
Mm-hmm.
to the room because of the garlic or touched anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, they're just like, we can't do a blood transfusion because there's no man. And then miraculously, the
Mm.
we call it the messenger boy, whatever, the messenger guy is like, I can do it. And by the way, I have a message from Arthur, who, I guess this is one of the three guys that proposed to Lucy or was in love with her or whatever. I don't remember him. And so he's just like, I love Lucy too. So I can save her. I can help save her. Apparently,
Jeez, there's like a whole
bro,
lot of.
everybody loved Lucy. It's I Love Lucy. Oh my gosh, like the TV show.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then so he gives his blood, and then he gets a little freaked out, and so he tells Dr. Seward like, "Hey, dude, what is going on? Like, she doesn't look okay. She looks very pale. Uh, and the fact with like this blood transfusion, I heard you guys saying that you, Van Helsing, and Arthur had to do a transfusion. That's 3 times, Jack. That's 3 times. Fourth, including me. So what is going on with her?" And Jack's just like, she's sick. He doesn't really give away any information. And then the dude is like, yeah, like I've seen like stuff like this before, where uh I had to leave one of my horses out in the pasture, and then the next day, it was on the ground writhing from pain because it had a vampire. A vampire had attacked my horse, and I had to kill my horse. Like he literally describes the whole scene of the horse to Seward. And Seward's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. What? What? Are you kidding me? And you don't even mention it to Van Helsing? Like, hey, so uh this dude, messenger boy here, he was asking questions about what we're doing. And then he said something weird about his horse, about like how a vampire sucked his horse's blood and he had to kill the horse. I might sense a correlation here. You know,
Mm.
besides the fact that like Lucy has lost blood 4 times, and this man has just told me that his horse lost blood in a very short amount of time. So, oh boy, yeah,
Kind of feels like um, what is that? A little hitting on the nose to share that
yeah,
information
yeah,
for the characters, and then like what is that? Also foreshadowing too, right?
yeah, yeah. What happened? Yeah, then Arthur comes over. He's all distressed. He's like, "No, my Lucy," because she's like, because now she's acting weird after she got some blood in her. Because she sleeps more often, but she's still like really restless. And then when she talks to Arthur, she's just like, she keeps insisting that he kisses her, and of course Arthur's more than happy to oblige. But Van Helsing's like, no, no kiss, no kiss.
Judo throw.
Judo throw, chow, right over your throat, soldier. No, no kisses. I said no. Yeah, and so I'm thinking she's infected. She's one of them. Welcome to the fourth bride.
Oh no, Lucy.
Yeah, because then like, what was it? When she was sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
she looked more like herself, but when she was awake, she looked more like ghastly. Like she
Mm.
looked like she had lost a lot of blood. So it could be her changing into a vampire.
Mm.
And then was it? Oh yeah, she like basically says goodbye to Arthur and to her other friends, and then she lies back down, and her breathing stops. And then Van Helsing's like, she is dead. She has died. She is gone. And he basically updates Seward, and he's like, okay, dude, this is just the beginning of what we need to do. And he's just like, what what do we need to do? And Van Helsing's like, you'll know soon. Like, you'll know soon. We just need to wait and see. Uh, so yeah, I wonder if like the other superstitions, I guess, surrounding vampires gets shown. Like was it the stake, a wooden stake,
Mm.
right? That's how you kill them.
Mm-hmm.
A wooden stake. What else? Oh, don't it's vampires, right? Where they need to be invited into your house in order to come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
You know what that means?
Who invited who?
Oh, I
Oh.
meant I'm not inviting anyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. There's a lot of like scary superstitions where it's like, oh, the evil spirit can't come in unless you invite them.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's why when someone knocks on your door, you don't answer it. You just look through the people, or you set up a camera, and you look at the camera.
What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? No, then you do like a Home
Or you
Alone.
just say go away.
Go away.
Be like the Grinch.
Yeah. No, you do like the Home Alone thing, and you play that scene in the background where it's like, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal," ba 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 ba, ba. And a Happy New Year too. Ba. But yeah, that's basically what happened last chapter. And now we are continuing Dr. Seward's diary. And let's hope Lucy gets a stake through her heart so that she's not like vampirized and sucking other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm.
I have a feeling
Yeah,
she's gonna suck other
she's
people.
gonna suck. Damn.
She's gonna suck. It goes both ways
I guess it does. It's a never-ending cycle.
of sucking.
uh, I do hope though that Van Helsing finds out about the patient, Dr. Seward's patient,
Mhm.
and they just like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let him loose so that he can go to his master, and we just follow him. Because I think, is it for vampires where like if you kill the primary, the original, the purebred, pureblood vampire that like turned the other vampires, if you kill him, then the other people will return to normal or something like that,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
that was one of the myths too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a werewolf one too.
Oh. Oh yeah, I think so. I need to put my phone on silent. There we go. Yeah, I think so.
Mm,
Yeah, well, okay. Here we go. I believe this is your chapter to start.
dang, guys, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah?
I'm gonna be stumbling.
Do you want to take the ending half? I can take the beginning.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Wait, don't start yet.
Okay.
Oh wait, yes, I got a shishi.
Okay.
I just have to
Hmm.
get myself situated.
Oh. In your bed?
No,
Oh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna attempt to do nail art.
Oh. How creative.
I got the nail brush things off Amazon
Oh, okay.
for $6
Oh, wow.
on Prime, or was it
Oh,
on
the
on Black
Black
Friday?
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever. One of
Yeah,
those sales.
and I'm like, that's cheap. I should buy it, even though I don't need it. So I bought it.
Okay. Oh. Hmm. Oh.
Ah,
Ah. Okay.
sorry.
Good.
I'm officially back.
Okay. You're all settled?
Katie is settled.
Okay. Thank you for joining us again, Katie.
Pleasure is all mine.
Okay. We don't know where Kaylee is, but I'm sure you'll be here one day.
She tired. She went to sleep.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, thank you for joining us. We would just have a huge gaping hole in our book club.
Yeah, it's okay. I think I'm better.
No. Oh, wow. Wow. Them's fighting words, Katie. My goodness, you're a little spicy. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. We all ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 13. Dr. Seward's Diary. Continued. The funeral was arranged for the next succeeding day, so that Lucy and her mother might be buried together. I attended to all the ghastly formalities, and the urbane undertaker proved that his staff were afflicted, or blessed, with something of his own obsequious?
Yeah.
Yeah? Goodness gracious, that sentence alone. Obsequious suavity. Okay. Even the woman who performed the last offices for the for the dead remarked to me, in a confidential, brother professional way, when she had come out from the death chamber. She makes a very beautiful corpse, sir. What? Wow.
What the
What
fuck?
okay. Man, funeral people are real weird in this. Okay. She makes a very
They appreciate.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
wait, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say they appreciate the things that we don't.
They appreciate the beauty in death.
Yeah.
Yeah. They find the beauty in death. I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the weird lady. She makes a very beautiful corpse, sir. It's quite a privilege to attend on her. It's not too much to say that she will do credit our establishment to our establishment. I noticed that Van Helsing never
No.
she's like plugging. She's plugging. She's like, "Ah, yes. She's very beautiful, and so her death is going to make our company look good." Sis. She's like, "Yes, the reputation of our funeral parlor." Oh. I noticed that Van Helsing never kept far away. This was possible from the disordered state of things in the household. There was no relatives at hand, and Arthur had to be back the next day to attend at his father's funeral. We were unable to notify anyone who should have been bidden. Under the circumstances, Van Helsing and I took it upon ourselves to examine papers, etc. He insisted upon looking over Lucy's papers himself. I asked him why, for I feared that he, being a foreigner, might not be quite aware of English legal requirements, and so might in ignorance make some unnecessary trouble. He answered me, I know. You forget that I am a lawyer as well as a doctor. But this is not altogether for the law. You knew that when you avoided the coroner. I have more than him to avoid. There may be papers more, such as this. As he spoke, he took from his pocketbook the memorandum which had been in Lucy's breast, and which she had torn in her sleep. When you find anything of the solicitor who is for the late Miss Westenra, seal all her papers, and write him tonight. For me, I watch here in the room and in Miss Lucy's old room all night, and I myself search for what may be. It is not well that her very thoughts go into the hands of strangers. I went on with my part of the work, and in another half hour had found the name and address of Miss Westenra's solicitor, and had written to him. All the poor lady's papers were in order. Explicit directions regarding the place of burial were given. I had hardly sealed the letter when, to my surprise, Van Helsing walked into the room, saying, Can I help you, friend John? I am free, and if I may, my service is to you. Have you got what you looked for? I asked, to which he replied, I did not look for any specific thing. I only hoped to find, and find I have, all that there was, only some letters and a few memoranda, and a diary new begun. But I have them here, and we shall for the present say nothing of them. I shall see that poor lad tomorrow evening, and with his sanction, I shall use some. When we had finished the work in hand, he said to me, And now, friend John, I think we may to bed. We want sleep, both you and I, and rest to recuperate. Tomorrow we shall have much to do. But for tonight, there is no need for us, alas. Before turning in, we went to look at poor Lucy. The undertaker has certainly done his work well, for the room was turned into a small chapelle ardente. Is that it?
Pardon?
Ardente? Okay. In a small chapelle ardente. There was a wilderness. Oh, wilderness? Yeah. There was a wilderness of beautiful white flowers, and death was made as little repulsive as might be. The end of the winding sheet was laid over the face. When the professor bent over and turned it gently back, we both stared at the beauty before us, the tall wax candles showing a sufficient light to note it well. All Lucy's loveliness had come back to her in death, and the hours that had passed, instead of leaving traces of decay's effacing. Yeah, effacing? Or was it? I think it's effacing.
Efficacy? Oh, I don't know.
I
Never
don't.
mind.
Yeah, no. I'm like, it looks like it's supposed to be efficacy, but it's not
Yeah.
spelled like it sounds.
Mm.
So maybe it's effacing, effacing.
Effacing.
Sure. Leaving traces of decay's effacing fingers, but had but restored the beauty of life. So positively, I could not believe my eyes that I was looking at a corpse. The professor looked sternly grave. He had not loved her as I had, and there was no need for tears in his eyes. He said to me, "Remain till I return," and left the room. He came back with a handful of wild garlic from the box waiting in the hall, which had not been opened, and placed the flowers amongst the others on and around the bed. Then he took from his neck, inside his collar, a little gold crucifix, and placed it over the mouth. He restored the sheet to its place, and we came away. I was undressing in my own room, when with a promontory tap at the door, he entered, and at once began to speak. "Tomorrow, I want you to bring me, before night, a set of post-mortem knives." "Must we make an autopsy?" I asked. "Yes and no. I want to operate, but not as you think. Let me tell you now, but not a word to another. And I want to cut off her head." I want to cut off her head. I'm sorry, what?
Off with her head.
Off with her head. Holy moly. Okay. I want to cut off her head and take out her heart. Ah, you.
Very subtle.
Yeah. He's very, he knows what he wants. He wants to cut off her head and take her heart, you know. Classic. "Ah, you, a surgeon, and so shocked. You, whom I have seen with no tremble of hand or heart, do operations of life and death, and make the rest shudder. Oh, but I must not forget, my dear friend John, that you loved her, and I have not forgotten it. For it is I that shall operate, and you must only help." Yeah, like that makes it better. "I would like to do it tonight, but for Arthur I must not. He will be free after his father's funeral tomorrow, and he will want to see her. To see it. Then, when she is coffined, ready for the next day, you and I shall come when all sleep. We shall unscrew the coffin lid, and shall do our operation, and then replace all, so that none know, save we alone." "But why do it at all? The girl is dead. Why mutilate her poor body without need? And if there is no necessity for post-mortem and nothing to gain by it, no good to her, to us, to science, to human knowledge, why do it? Without such it is monstrous." For answer he put his hand on my shoulder, and said with infinite tenderness, "Friend John, I pity your poor bleeding heart, and I love you the more because it does so bleed. If I could, I would take on myself the burden that you do bear. But there are things that you know not, but that you shall know, and bless me for knowing, though they are not pleasant things. John, my child, you have been my friend now many years, and yet did you ever know me to do any without good cause? I may err. I am but man, but I believe in all I do. Was it not for these causes that you sent for me when the great trouble came? Yes. Were you not amazed, nay, horrified, when I would not let Arthur kiss his love, though she was dying, and snatched him away by all my strength? Yes. And yet you saw how she thanked me, with her beautiful dying eyes, her voice too, so weak, and she kissed my rough old hand and blessed me? Yes. And did you not hear me swear promise to her, that so she closed her eyes grateful? Yes. Well, I have good reason now for all I want to do. You have for many years trusted me. You have believed me weeks past, when there be things so strange that you might have well doubt. Believe me yet a little, friend John. If you trust me not, then I must tell what I think, and that is not perhaps well. And if I work, as work I shall, no matter trust or no trust, without my friend trust in me. I work with heavy heart and feel, oh, so lonely when I want all help and courage that may be. He paused a moment and went on solemnly. Friend John, there are strange and terrible days before us. Let us not be two, but one, that so we work to a good end. Will you not have faith in me? I took his hand and promised him. I held my door open as he went away and watched him go into his room and close the door. As I stood without moving, I saw one of the maids pass silently along the passage. She had her back towards me, so she did not see me, and go into the room where Lucy lay. The sight touched me. Devotion is so rare, and we are so grateful to those who show it unasked to those we love. Here was a poor girl putting aside the terrors which she naturally had of death, to go watch alone by the bier of the mistress whom she loved, so that poor Clay may not be lonely till laid to her to eternal rest. That made suspicious. Suspicious. I must have slept long and soundly, for it was broad daylight when Van Helsing waked me by coming into my room. He came over to my bedside and said, "You need not trouble about the knives. We shall not do it." "Why not?" I asked, for her solemnity of the night before had greatly impressed me. "Because," he said sternly, "it is too late, or too early. See." Here he held up a little golden crucifix. "This was stolen in the night." "How stolen?" I asked in wonder, "since you have it now." Because I get it back from the worthless wretch who stole it, from the woman who robbed the dead and the living." Bro.
Here he thought she was being all
Yeah.
sentimental and
Yeah. Dr. Shear's like, "Oh, wait, that's so
mourning.
cute. She's still going to see, pay respects to the master whom she loved." And Van Helsing's just like, "This what worthless wretch stole this." Oh my goodness, the dichotomy of these two is, it's like night and day, but they work so well together.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Because I get it back from the worthless wretch who stole it, from the woman who robbed the dead and the living. Her punishment will surely come, but not through me. She knew not altogether what she did, and thus unknowing. She only stole. Now we must wait. He went away on the word, leaving me with a new mystery to think of, a puzzle to grapple with. The forenoon was a dreary time, but at noon the solicitor came, Mr. Marquand of Holman, sons Marquand and Littledale. He was very genial and very appreciative of what we had done, and took off our hands all cares as to details. During lunch, he told us that Mrs. Westenra had for some time expected sudden death from her heart, and had put her affairs in absolute order. He informed us that, with the exception of a certain entailed property of Lucy's father's, which now, in default of direct issue, went back to a distant branch of the family, the whole estate, real and personal, was left absolutely to Arthur Holmwood. When he had told us so much, he went on. Frankly, we did our best to prevent such a testamentary? Yeah, testamentary?
Sounds right.
Holy moly. Frankly, we did our best to prevent such a
We didn't all the
testamentary.
big words.
I know, you would have flubbed. The flub was inevitable. Uh, Frankly, we did our best to prevent such a testamentary disposition, and pointed out certain contingencies that might leave her daughter either penniless or not so free as she should be to act regarding of a matrimonial alliance. Indeed, we pressed the matter so far that we almost came into collision, for she asked us if we were, or were not, prepared to carry out her wishes. Of course, we had then no alternative but to accept. We were right in principle, and 99 times out of 100 we should have proved, by the logic of events, the accuracy of our judgment. Frankly, however, I must admit that in this case, any other form of disposition would have rendered impossible the carrying out of her wishes, for by her predeceasing her daughter, the latter would have come into possession of the property, and even had she only survived her mother by 5 minutes, her property would, in case there were no will, and a will was a practical impossibility in such a case, have been treated to her decease, at her decease, as under intestacy? Intestacy? What?
I don't know.
I've never heard that word.
Intestacy?
Intestacy? That sounds a little too close to intestines.
Yeah.
But that looks like it sounds correct. Intestacy? Okay, well. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds correct.
It does. Ugh, goodness. In which case, Lord Godalming? Or is it Godalming?
Sound right.
It could be either way. Godalming or Godalming. I don't know. I'm just gonna call him Godalming. Godalming, yeah. In which case, Lord Godalming, though so dear a friend, would have had no claim in the world, and the inheritors being remote, would not be likely to abandon their just rights, for sentimental reasons regarding the entire stranger. I assume you, my dear sirs, I am rejoiced at the result. Perfectly rejoiced. He was a good fellow, but his rejoicing at the one little part in which he was officially interested, of so great a tragedy, was an object lesson in the limitations of sympathetic understanding. He did not remain long, but said he would look in later in the day and see Lord Godalming. His coming, however, had been a certain comfort to us, since it assured us that we should not have dread hostile criticism as to any of our acts. Arthur was expected at 5 o'clock, so a little before that time we visited the death chamber. It was so in very truth, for now both mother and daughter lay in it. The undertaker, true to his craft, had made the best display he could of his goods, and there was a mortuary air about the place that lowered our spirits at once. Van Helsing ordered the former arrangement to be adhered to, explaining that, as Lord Godalming was coming very soon, it would be less harrowing to his feelings to see all that was left of his fiancée quite alone. The undertaker seemed shocked at his own stupidity, and exerted himself to restore things to the condition in which we left the night before, so that when Arthur came, such shocks to his feelings as we could avoid were saved. Poor fellow! He looked desperately sad and broken. Even his stalwart manhood seemed to have shrunk somewhat under the strain of his much tired emotions. He had, I knew, been very genuine and devotedly attached to his father, and to lose him, and at such a time, was a bitter blow to him. With me he was warm as ever, and to Van Helsing he was sweetly courteous, but I could not help seeing that there was some constraint with him. The professor noticed it too, and mentioned me to bring him upstairs. I did so, and left him at the door of the room, as I felt he would like to be quite alone with her. But he took my arm and led me in, saying huskily, "You loved her too, old fellow. She told me all about it, and there was no friend had a closer place in her heart than you. I don't know how to thank you
Oh,
for all you have done for her. I can't think yet." Damn.
oh,
That sucks for him though.
why you gotta say that? Van Helsing?
No, this is Arthur.
Oh, Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur saying
Oh my
this.
gosh.
Yeah, Arthur.
Oh my god. That hurts even more.
Yeah. He lost his father, his mother-in-law, and his wife. All in a week. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Here, he suddenly broke down and threw his arms round my shoulder, and laid his head on my breast, crying, "Oh, Jack, Jack, what shall I do? The whole of life seems gone for me all at once, and there is nothing in this wide world for me to live for." I comforted him as well as I could. In such cases, men do not need much expression. A grip of the hand, the tightening of an arm over the shoulder, a sob in unison, are expressions of sympathy dear to a man's heart. I stood still and silent till his sobs died away, and then I said softly to him, "Come and look at her." Together we moved over to the bed, and I lifted the lawn from her face. God, how beautiful she was! Every hour seemed to be enhancing her loveliness. It frightened and amazed me somewhat.
Oh.
That's a little weird. Why is she getting more beautiful? She's dead. Why?
Mm.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, every hour seemed to be enhancing her loveliness. It frightened and amazed me somewhat. And as for Arthur, he fell a trembling, and finally was shaking with doubt, as with an ague. At last, after a long pause, he said to me in a faint whisper, "Jack, is she really dead?" I assured him, sadly, that it was so, and went on to suggest, for I felt that such a horrible doubt should not have life for a moment longer than I could help, that it often happened that after death faces become softened and even resolved into their youthful beauty, that this was especially so when death had been preceded by any acute or prolonged suffering. It seemed to quite do away with any doubt, and after kneeling beside the couch for a while, and looking at her lovingly and long, he turned aside. I told him that he must be goodbye, as the coffin had to be prepared. So he went back and took her dead hand in his and kissed it. I bent over and kissed her forehead. He came away, fondly looking back over his shoulder at her as he came. I left him in the drawing room and told Van Helsing that he had said goodbye, so the latter went to the kitchen to tell the undertaker's men to proceed with the preparations, and to screw up the coffin. When he came out of the room again, I told him of Arthur's question, and he replied, "I am not surprised. Just now, I doubted for a moment myself." Wait. Van Helsing? You... Okay. He knows. He knows. He knows. We all dined together, and I could see that poor Art was trying to make the best of things. Van Helsing had been silent all dinner time, but when we had lit our cigars, he said, "Lord," but Arthur interrupted him. No, not that. For God's sake. Not yet, at any rate. Forgive me, sir. I did not mean to speak offensively. It is only because my loss is so recent. The professor answered very sweetly, I only used that name because I was in doubt. I must not call you Mr., and I have grown to love you. Yes, my dear boy, to love you. As Arthur. Arthur held out his hand, and took the old man's warmly. Call me what you will, he said. I hope I may always have the title of a friend. And let me say that I am at a loss for words to thank you for your goodness to my poor dear. He paused a moment and went on. I know that she understood your goodness even better than I do. And if I was rude or in any way wanting at the time, you acted so. You remember. The professor nodded. You must forgive me. He answered with a grave kindness. I know it was hard for you to quite trust me then. For to trust such violence needs to understand. And I take it that you cannot, trust me now, for you do not yet understand. And there may be more times when I shall want you to trust when you cannot, and may not, and must not yet understand. But the time will come when your trust shall be whole and complete in me, and when you shall understand as though the sunlight himself shone through. Then you shall bless me from first to last for your own sake, and for the sake of others, and for her dear sake, to whom I swore to protect. And indeed, sir, said Arthur warmly, I shall in all ways trust you. I know and believe you have a very noble heart, and you are Jack's friend, and you are hers. You shall do what you like. The professor cleared his throat a couple of times, as though about to speak, and finally said, May I ask you something now? Certainly. I don't think he's gonna ask something normal. Or who knows. Ugh. You know that Mrs. Westenra left you all her property? No, poor dear. I never thought of that. And as it is all yours, you have a right to deal with it as you will. I want you to give me permission to read all Miss Lucy's papers and letters. Believe me, it is no idle curiosity. I have a motive of which, be sure, she would have approved. I have them all here. I took them before we knew that all was yours. So that so that no strange hand might touch them. No strange eye look through words into her soul. I shall keep them, if I may. Even you may not see them yet, but I shall keep them safe. No word shall be lost, and in the good time I shall give them back to you. It's a hard thing, I ask, but you will do it. Will you not, for Lucy's sake? Arthur spoke heartily, like his old self. Dr. Van Helsing, you may do what you will. I feel that in saying that that I am doing what my dear would have approved. I shall not trouble you with questions till the time comes. The old professor stood up, as he said solemnly, And you are right. There will be pain for us all, but it will not be all pain, nor will this pain be the last. We, and you too, you most of all, my dear boy, will have to pass through the bitter water before we reach the sweet. But we must be brave of heart and unselfish, and do our duty, and all will be well. I slept on a sofa in Arthur's room that night. Van Helsing did not go to bed at all. He went to and fro, as if patrolling the house, and was never out of sight of the room where Lucy lay in her coffin, strewn with the wild garlic flowers, which sent through the odor of lily and rose, a heavy, overpowering smell into the night. Oh yeah, he knows.
Mm-hmm.
He knows. He's like, yes, that just sleep in a house with a possible vampire. Okay. Do you want me to keep reading?
I can read this other half.
Okay.
Mina Harker's journal. September 22nd. In the train to Exeter, Jonathan sleeping. It seems only yesterday that the last century was made, and yet how much between then in Whitby and all the world before me. Jonathan away and no news of him. And now married to Jonathan. Jonathan a solicitor. Partner, rich, master of his business. Mr. Hawkins dead and buried, and Jonathan with another attack may harm. Same day he may ask me about it. Down it all goes. I'm rusty in my short hair. See what unexpected prosperity does for us. So it may be as well to freshen it up again as an exercise anyhow. The service was very simple and very solemn. There were only ourselves and the servants there, one or two old friends of his from Exeter, his London agent, and a gentleman representing Sir John Paxton, president of the Incorporated Law Society. Jonathan and I stood hand in hand, and we felt that our best and dearest friend was gone from us. Came back quietly, taking a boat to Hyde Park Corner. Jonathan thought it would interest me to go into the Row for a while, so we sat down. There were very few people there, and it was sad looking and desolate to see so many empty chairs. It made us think of the empty chair at home, so we got up and walked down Piccadilly. Jonathan was holding me by my arm, the way he used to in old days before I went to school. Felt it very improper, for you can't go on for some years teaching etiquette and decorum to other girls with the pedantry of it biting into yourself a bit. But it was Jonathan, and he was my husband, and we didn't know anybody saw us. We didn't care if they did, so on we walked. I was looking at a very beautiful girl in a big cartwheel hat, sitting in a Victoria outside Giuliano. I felt Jonathan clutch my arm so tight that it hurt me. He said under his breath, God. I was always anxious about Jonathan, for I fear that some nervous fit may upset him again, so I turned to him quickly and asked him what it was that disturbed him. He was very pale, and his eyes seemed bulging out as, half in terror and half in amazement, he gazed at a tall, thin man with a beaky nose and black moustache, pointed beard, who was also observing the pretty. He was looking at her so hard that he did not see either of us, so I had a good view of him. His face was not a good face. It was hard and cruel and sensual, and his big white teeth, that looked all the whiter because his lips were so red, were pointed like an animal's. And Jonathan kept staring at him till I was afraid he would notice. I feared he might take it ill, though he looked so fierce and nasty. I asked Jonathan why he was disturbed, and he answered, evidently thinking that I knew as much about it as he did. Do you see who it is? No, I said. No, dear, he said. I don't know him. Who is it? His answer seemed to shock and thrill me, for it was said as if he did not know that it was to me, Mina, to whom he was speaking. 'Tis the man himself. Poor dear was evidently terrified, very greatly terrified. I do believe that if he had not had me oh my god, why had. I do believe that if he had not had me to lean on to support him, he would have sunk down. He kept staring. A man came out of the shop with a small parcel and gave it to the lady, who then drove off. The man kept his eyes fixed on her, and when the carriage moved up Piccadilly, he follows in the same direction, hailed a hansom. Jonathan kept looking after him, said, if to himself, I believe it is the Count. He has grown young. My God, if this be so, oh my God, if I only knew, I only knew. He was distressing himself so much that I feared to keep his mind on the subject by asking him any questions. So I remained silent. I drew him away quietly, and he, holding my arm, came easily. We walked a little further, and then went in, sat for a while in the green park. It was a hot day for autumn, and there was a comfortable seat in a shady place. After a few minutes staring at nothing, Jonathan's eyes closed, and he went quietly into sleep with his head on his shoulder. Thought it was the best thing, so did not disturb him. In about 20 minutes he woke up and said to me quite cheerfully, "Why, Mina, have I been asleep? Do forgive me for being so rude. Come, and we'll have a cup of tea somewhere." Oh God,
Mm.
I did not
Hmm.
see the quotations, or I added them in with my own. Ah, why, Mina, have I been asleep? Oh, do forgive me for being so rude. Come, we'll have a cup of tea somewhere. He had evidently forgotten all about the dark stranger, as in his illness he had forgotten all that this episode had reminded him. I don't like this lapsing into forgetfulness. It may make or continue some injury to the brain. I must not ask him, for I fear it shall do more harm than good. But I must somehow learn facts of his journey abroad. Time has come, I fear, and I must open that book,
Mm.
and I know what it is written. Oh, Jonathan, you will, I know, forgive me if I do wrong, but it is for your own dear sake.
Mm.
Oh, did you hear that last?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a question.
No, I was just saying.
Nice.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
oh. Jonathan's been hypnotized.
Yeah, and Mina's about to find out everything that happened.
Like, later, sad homecoming in every way, house empty of the dear soul who was so good to us. Jonathan still pale and dizzy under a slight relapse of his malady. And now a telegram from Van Helsing, whoever he may be. You will be grieved to hear that Mrs. Western died 5 days ago, and that Lucy died the day before yesterday. They were both buried too. They were both buried today. Oh, what a wealth of sorrow in a few words. Poor Mrs. Westenra. Poor Lucy. Gone, gone, never to return to us. And poor Arthur, to have lost such sweetness out of his life. God help us all, bear our troubles. Dr. Seward's Diary. September 22nd. It is all over. Arthur has gone back to Ring and taken Quincy Morris with him. What a fine fellow is Quincy. I believe in my heart, suffered as much about oh my, what am I? I believe in heart of hearts that he suffered as much about Lucy's death as any of us, but he bore himself through it like a moral Viking. If America can go on breeding men like that, she will be a power in the world indeed. Van Helsing is lying down, having a rest preparatory to his journey.
What did you say?
I don't even know what did I say?
I don't. I think he said porpitory.
Preparatory.
I think he said preparatory. I'm like, huh?
Oh gosh. There are two O's in preparatory. 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 I am gone, guys.
Yeah,
I am gone.
preparatory.
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 Yeah,
Can you say that for me one more time?
preparatory.
Preparatory.
Mm.
I got it.
Okay.
I gotta run with it.
Yeah. Go.
Have a rest. Purport. Having a rest. Having a rest. Purport. Preparatory.
No. Preparatory.
No.
Just it's
Prepara.
the first half is prepare.
Para.
Yeah, preparatory.
Parapet.
No.
Having a rest. Preparatory
Oh.
to his journey.
Yeah.
He goes over to Amsterdam tonight, but says he returns tomorrow night. That he only wants to make some arrangements which can only be made personally. He is to stop with me then, if he can. He says he has work to do in London, which may take him some time. Poor old fellow. I fear that the strain of the past week has broken down even his iron strength. All the time of the burial he was, I could see, putting some terrible restraint on himself. When it was all over, we were standing beside Arthur, who, poor fellow, was speaking of his part in the operation where his blood had been transfused to Lucy's veins. I could see Van Helsing's face grow white and purple by turn. Arthur was saying that he felt since then as if they two had been really married, and that she was his wife in the sight of God. None of us said a word of the other operation, and none of us ever shall. Arthur and Quincy went away together to the station, and Van Helsing and I came on here. The moment we were alone in the carriage, gave way to a regular fit of hysterics. He has denied to me since that it was hysteric, and insisted that it was only sense of humour asserting itself under very terrible conditions. Oh, almost there.
You got it.
He laughed till he cried, and I had to draw down the blinds lest anyone see us and misjudge. And then he cried.
I'm just imagining the scene. He's just laughing hysterically, and Dr. C was just like, "Oh, let me just close the windows."
And then he cried, till he laughed again, laughed and cried together, just as a woman does. I tried to be stern with him, as one is to a woman under the circumstances, but it had no effect. Men and women are so different in manifestations of nervous strength or weakness. Then, when his face grew grave and stern again, I asked him why his mirth, why at such. His reply was in a way characteristic of him, for it was logical and forceful and mysterious. He said, "Ah, you don't comprehend, friend John. Do not think that I am not sad, though I laughed. See, I have cried even when the laugh did choke me, but no more think that I am all sorry when I cry. For the laugh, he come just the same. Keep it always with you that laughter who knock at your door and say, 'May I come in?' is not the true laughter. No, he is king, and he come." I have to take a break because
Okay,
there's a lot of he's.
there is.
No, he is king, and he come when and how he like. He has no person. He chooses no time or responsibility. He say, "I'm here."
Why is there so much he's? Why is he suddenly talking in the third person?
Behold, in example, I grieve my heart out for that so sweet young girl. I give my blood for her, though I am old and worn. I give my time, my skill, my sleep. I let other sufferers want that so she may have all. And yet I can laugh at her very grave laugh, when the clay from the spade of the sexton drop upon her coffin, and say, thud, thud to my heart, till it send back the blood from my cheek. My heart bleed for that poor boy, that dear boy, so of the age of mine own boy, had I been so blessed that he live, and with his hair and eyes the same. There you know why I love him. And yet, when he say things that touch my husband heart the quick, and make my father heart yearn to him as to no other man, not even to you, friend John. For we are more level in experiences than father and son. Yet even at such moment King laughs, come to me, and shouts and bellow in my ear, here I am, here I am, till the blood come dance back and bring some of the sunshine that he carry with him to my cheek. Oh, friend John, it is a strange world or sad world full of miseries and woes and troubles. And yet when King Laugh come, he make them all dance to the tune he play. Bleeding hearts and dry bones of the churchyard, and tears that burn as they fall, all dance together to the music that he make with that smileless mouth of his. And believe me, John, friend John, that he is good to come, and kind. Ah, we men and women are like ropes drawn tight with strain that pull us different ways. Then tears come, and like the rain on the ropes they brace us up, until perhaps the strain become too great and we break. But King Laugh he come like the sunshine, and he ease off the strain again, and we bear to go on with our labor the way it may be. Oh, Arthur, losing his mind. I do not like to wound him by pretending not to see his idea, but as I did not yet understand the cause of his laughter, I asked him, as he answered me with his face grew stern, and he said in quite a different tone, oh, it was the grim irony of it all. The lovely lady garlanded with flowers that looked so fair as life, till one by one we wondered if she were truly dead. She laid in that still fine marble house in that lonely churchyard, where rest so many of her kin, laid there with the mother who loved her, whom she loved, sat sacred bell going toll, toll, toll. So sad and slow, and those holy men, with the white garments of the angel, pretending to read books, and yet all the time their eyes never on the page, and all of us with the bowed head. And all for what? She is dead, is it not? Well, for the life of me, Professor, I said, I can't see anything to laugh at in all that. Why, your explanation makes it a harder puzzle than. But even if the burial service was comic, what about poor Arthur and his trouble? Why his heart was simply breaking. Just so. Said, just so. Said not that the transfusion of his blood to her veins made her truly his bride? Yes, and it was a sweet and comforting idea. Oh, idea.
Idea. I do.
Idea. The country just keeps
Sneaking in.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, slipping in.
Yep.
Oh, yes. And it was a sweet and comforting idea. Quite so. But there was a difficulty, friend John. If so that, then what about the others? Oh ho! Then this so sweet maid is a polyandrous. And me. with my poor wife did to me. But all alive by church's law, though no wit, all gone, even I, who am faithful husband to his now no wife, am bigamous.
Oh. Do you know what he's saying?
No.
Okay, so basically Arthur was saying, because I don't think they had the ceremony for their wedding yet, so they weren't technically married, but because they were betrothed, and then Arthur said that like, yes, but we were basically married. He considers that they were married because he gave her his blood, like his life, right?
Mm,
And Van Helsing is like, yes, that's a comforting idea, but what about the others? You know, she's a she's a polyamorous. she she's got 4 husbands. I mean, 5 husbands. And then he's just saying that like my wife is dead, but like me who I'm a faithful husband to this now no wife.
oh my.
Well, she got what she wished for. She married all
Mm-hmm.
3 guys.
Yeah. I don't see where the joke comes in either, he said, and I did not feel particularly pleased with him for saying such things. He laid his hand on my arm and said, Friend John, forgive me if I showed not my feelings to others when it would wound, but only to trust my old friend, whom I can trust. If you could have looked into my very heart, then when I want to laugh, if you could have done so when the laugh arrived, if you could do so now, when King Laugh hath pack up his crown, and all that is, for he go far, far away from me, and for a long time, maybe you would perhaps pity most of all. I was touched by the tenderness of his tone, and asked, because I know. And now we are all scattered, many a long day of loneliness, sit over our roofs with brooding wing. Lucy lies in the tomb of her kin, a lordly death house in a lonely church, away from teeming London, where the air is fresh, sun rises over Hampstead, and where wild flowers grow of their own accord. So I can finish this diary. God only knows if I shall ever begin another. If I do, or if I even open this again, it will be to deal with different people and different names. Here at the end, where the romance of my life is told, ere I go back to take up the thread of life work, I say sadly and without, Fini. The Westminster Gazette, September 25th. Hampstead Mystery. Neighborhood. Why did that come out like Irish?
The neighborhood.
Ugh. The neighborhood. Oh god, it sounded country.
Yeah.
The neighborhood of Hampstead is just at present exercised with a series of events which seem to run on lines like it. Neighborhood of Hampstead is just at present exercised with a series of events which seem to run on lines parallel to those of what was known to the writers of headlines as the Kensington Horror, or the Stabbing Woman, or the Woman in Black. During the past 2 or 3 days, several cases have occurred of young children. During the past 2 or 3 days, several cases have occurred of young children straying from home or neglecting to return from their playing on the heath. In all these cases, the children were too young to give any properly intelligible account of themselves. but the consensus of their excuses is that they had been with a blue fur lady. It has always been late in the evening when they have been missed. 2 occasions the children have not been found until early in the following morning. It is generally supposed in the neighborhood that, as the first child missed gave as his reason for being away that a blue fur lady had asked him to come for a walk. Others had picked up the phrase and used it as occasion served. This is the more natural, as the favorite game of the little one at present is luring each other away by wile. Correspondent writes us that see some of their tiny tots pretending to be the blue fur lady is extremely funny. Some of the some of our characterists might may I don't know where that came from.
And you read characteristics so well. I was like, oh wow, she got it. It's so nice. And then you said mate.
Oh god.
You're almost done.
I'm hanging in there. Some of our characterists might, he says, take a lesson in the irony of grotesque by comparing the reality and the picture. It is only in accordance with general principles of human nature that the blue fur lady should be the popular role at these al fresco performances. Or our correspondent naively.
Oh my god.
How did I say that?
You said it like or
Or
Exactly how it's spelled.
yeah. Or oh man. Oh.
oh my. Okay, almost there. Our correspondent naively says that even Ellen Terry could not be so winningly attractive as some of grubby-faced little children pretend. And I don't like that at all. Oh, sorry, my light like dimmed and I'm like, ugh. Our correspondent naively says that Evan Ellen Terry could not be so winningly attractive as some of these grubby-faced little children pretend, and even imagine themselves to be. There is, however, possibly a serious side to the question. Some of the children indeed all have been missed tonight, been slightly torn or wounded in the throat. Oh
Oh.
gosh, look,
That's
They're getting
it's
sucked.
sad.
so.
It's feeding time.
The children are getting sucked.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh. It's like Hocus Pocus but with vampires instead of witches.
Army of the Undead.
Are they gonna make children vampires?
Ah, that's a
Whatever,
horrible
whatever.
thought.
Children as vampires?
Children vampires. The wounds seem such might be made by a rat or small dog. And although of not much importance individually, would tend to show that whatever animal inflicts them as a system or method of its own. Police, about to say police. Police of the division have been instructed to keep a sharp a sharp lookout for straying children, especially when very young. In and out, in and around. Ah, in and around Hampstead Heath, and for any stray dog may be about. The Westminster Gazette, September 25th. Extra special. Why is it extra? Hampstead or another child in blue for lady.
That's why it's extra. That's why it's extra special. Because it's another one.
Yay. We have just received intelligence. Another child, missed last night, was only discovered late in the morning under a furze bush at the Shooters hillside of Hampstead, which is perhaps less frequented than the other part. It has the same tiny wound in the throat, as has been noticed in other cases. It was terribly weak and looked quite emaciated. It, too, when partially restored, had the common story to tell of being lured away by the blue filly.
Dun dun dun.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
That,
Everyone's
Is-
getting sucked.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the age of sucking.
Ah,
The golden age of
The
sucking.
golden age of sucking. Or more like getting sucked.
Sucking and being sucked.
To suck. Or be sucked. Ah. I kind of like this chapter.
We are 47% through the book.
Mm-hmm. We're about halfway.
oh my god.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not halfway yet, but almost there.
We're truthers. Ain't no liars here. Was this 27 chapters in total.
My goodness. Oh,
And
oh my gosh.
this next
That's
chapter is gonna be 50 minutes long.
Huh? I mean, well,
Yeah.
that's not really surprising. All of the videos have been like an hour long. Let's see. On Fable, it's 44 pages. Yeah. That's about an hour.
Mine says 38 pages.
What? Oh,
I don't
you
know how much page it is.
Oh, you're on your iPad?
I'm on my phone, so
Oh.
it's definitely like, what do you call that?
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, the one on my Fable one, because I think I make the words bigger.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do. It says 44 pages for me.
I was totally expecting Van Helsing to just go at it and like take her.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
everyone
Me,
was
me
gone.
too. I was waiting for it. Just like, right before they seal the coffin, just bap, put the stake in, bury her with it.
Oh, I kind of like. I guess I kind of like it too that he hasn't. 'Cause I feel like he's probably gonna show Seward.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's gonna be terrible heartbreak for Seward.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be like, "You're alive." He's gonna be like,
And she's gonna be
and he's
like,
gonna be like, "Not on
blah
my
blah
watch,
blah, blah
you
blah
little
blah,
girl."
blah blah blah,
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Way. Blah blah. Join the undead.
Blah blah blah. One of us.
Suck your blood.
Giving me Game of Thrones vibes.
Blah.
Blah blah. That's crazy though. So it's like, because Mina, Harker, and Jonathan have come back to London, right? Or went back to London.
I don't know where they are
And
actually.
so,
I think they are in London. Yeah.
because she was about to call on her, but couldn't because she did.
Bleh.
That's probably why they both saw Dracula.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe the dude got sucked too.
Mm. I I thought that that beautiful woman was one of the wives. Guess not.
Oh, just another prey for him to capture.
Another bride. And he can walk in daylight. Apparently.
Yeah. Unless was that evening? No, it was morning, right?
Mm. I thought it was morning. Because it was like day and they were hanging out at like the park and stuff, right?
I think so. It was after the funeral.
Because they there was a part where like they went to sit in the shade so Jonathan could take a nap. Something like that.
Oh.
So
Oh wait. But it said
yeah.
oh. Oh, it was a parcel. Never mind. He came out with this. Oh, I see. No, it just says that. Oh, I don't know. Where is it? Da-da-da-da. It was a hot day in autumn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they found a shady place. But what was he
Mm,
wearing? It could have been that he's wearing like a coat, a
covering up
hat.
his
Yeah, covering up.
mm.
Yes, we don't exactly know if he was fully covered.
And it's interesting that that's not described because the woman is described as
Mm-hmm.
that she has like what do you call that sun hat or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm. I wonder where that demon dog is. That was some crazy stuff in that last chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, I'm hoping this next chapter. Oh, Lucy does reveal her nature.
Ooh, yeah. I hope she gets outed.
Mm-hmm. It's like, just kidding.
Just kidding, guys.
I,
I was just asleep.
I was listening and
It
I
was
was eavesdropping the whole time.
yeah, I heard every single one of you.
Hmm. Any predictions for the next chapter?
Hmm. Uh. What to predict? I don't know, really.
Hmm.
Like a lot of stuff could happen. Who knows? Maybe Mina's next on the chopping block.
Not Mina.
Not Mina.
Has to be. It's destined.
Someone's gotta get chopped.
For
The children.
The children. They're getting chopped.
That's really messed up, though. That the kids are getting attacked.
They're getting sucked.
Bro. I
Mm.
feel like, why didn't this happen sooner? Right?
Hmm.
Because I feel like
The
kids.
children getting sucked.
Yeah, because the kids are most susceptible first. Unless it has been happening for a while. And
I feel like it has.
and
And only now
we're
it's like,
hearing about it.
yeah.
Oh, so he has an insatiable thirst.
Dude, we don't even know if it's even
Or
him,
children.
right? Because if he's out there, the other 3 are also
Yeah.
out there.
There's many of
There's
them.
many of
It's
them.
a cult.
It's a cult.
Oh,
It's a vampire
the
family.
brides want babies.
And who knows? Maybe it's just like the patient. You know? It's
Yeah.
just like just other people, other vampires who are coming out and about. What if they're
So, like,
what if they're like territorial? They're like sensing Dracula coming on
Hmm.
their turf, and they're like, no, we gotta assert dominance. Start sucking blood.
so like, does this mean they don't discriminate about blood?
Probably not.
Guess not.
I mean, Dracula sucked Lucy dry 4 times. And
Maybe
4 of those times it was not her blood.
I mean,
maybe if you.
they did suck a vampire. Or not a vampire,
What?
a horse.
Hmm.
A horse.
Yeah.
The vampire
yeah.
sucked a
Yeah.
horse. So, like,
Maybe.
I do wonder why.
are they gonna suck all the animals?
I think. Well, this isn't like a Disney Channel movie or whatever, but like I think the taste of
Why?
human blood is different. It's like you eating.
It's preferred.
Yeah, it's like more desirable. While like they can still feed off of animal blood, just fine normally, but like they
Yeah.
want the good stuff. That's us. Yeah, I think it was like a Disney TV show. Do you remember that movie, Kaylee?
Is that a little vampire?
Yes, that one. Because the little vampire, he was like, we're not evil. Like, we don't drink human blood. We drink cow blood. Because the little boy that found him was like so scared, like, you're gonna kill me. And he's just like, no.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it's like they can survive just fine on animal blood, but the actual it's like fine wine for human blood.
I wonder, like, what is that? I wonder if Dracula's picky.
If he's picky?
Yeah, because he was very insistent on drinking Mina's blood.
Lucy.
Oh, Lucy's.
Yeah, I do wonder.
Maybe he's just bougie.
Oh,
You know what?
freaking Dracula.
No way. He's like he no, he sucked her the first time, right? And he's like, "Oh man, I almost killed her." And he's like, "Well, I guess I'll come back tomorrow night to finish her off." And then he comes back and she's like fully stocked again. And he's like, "Oh, I got a never-ending well over here. Where'd you get all this blood from?"
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
he's leaving her like alive on purpose,
Oh,
just so that he can keep going back.
right. Cause
Mhm.
cause maybe because he's like, oh man, there's a lot of people that love this girl. I'll keep her alive for now, so that they have a reason to keep her alive. They're gonna keep doing
Cool.
miracle blood transfusions. I wonder though, what
Mhm.
was the superstition of how you become a vampire? You need to be bitten by a pureblood and something
Mhm.
else, right? Was it that you needed to ingest their blood, the pureblood's blood,
Yeah, that was another myth.
right? Okay, that is the one then. So like, interesting.
There's another one too where it was like you can't bleed them dry. Like it
Oh,
has to be close to death.
oh, I see, I
But
see.
like, yeah.
Ah, oh, I have a prediction. Arthur is gonna get sucked. Lucy's gonna come back.
Ah,
You know,
yeah.
what do you call it?
Oh,
What do you?
and Lucy's gonna suck him.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, she's gonna be like, Arthur, my love, I've come back. Kiss me,
Psych.
kiss me.
Kiss me, you fool.
Yep, yep.
Ah, rah, rah,
Yep. And then is Van Helsing and Dr. Seward still gonna cut her head off and take her heart?
I. It seems like he's waiting for her to change.
Oh. I wonder. I wonder if he knows that like if you do it too early,
Mm,
then she'll just regrow her head or something. Or
yeah.
regrow a heart, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We better start learning more about Van Helsing and how the heck he knows all this stuff.
Um. I have a. Mm, it would be a bummer if he didn't, because it seems like he's the type of his character. It seems very much like his character to share that kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
Because he seems to be sharing a whole lot, or what do you call that? Talking a whole lot to the
Yeah.
C word.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, maybe he's been doing this for a long time. It's his
Maybe.
side job.
Oh my gosh. Doctor during the day, vampire hunter by night.
Yeah.
I still think this
Mm.
book is way too long though.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
I think it's
It can be
I think it's
shorter.
needlessly too long.
Mm. I agree.
All right. Well, this is a good read, a good chapter.
Yeah, it was.